If you're feeling like you're just drifting through life right now, not really knowing who you are or where you're going, this video is for you. If you're scrolling on social media, comparing your life to everyone else, feeling behind, feeling not good enough, and secretly asking yourself, what am I even doing? Stay with me for the next minutes, because I'm not going to give you motivation quotes or tell you just follow your passion. I'm going to give you a clear, honest process you can use to start answering 3 questions. Who am I really? What do I exactly want? And what is my next concrete step from here? If you give me your full attention for this video, you will not magically have your entire life figured out. But you will walk away with clarity, language for what you are feeling, and a simple roadmap you can use actually already in this week. That's the deal. Let's get into it. Right now you might be in this strange place where your life looks okay from the outside. You might have a job, maybe you're studying, maybe you have a relationship, a couple of friends, some hobbies. From the outside nothing is dramatically wrong, right? But inside there's this constant feeling that you're not really living your life. You're just reacting. You wake up, do what you're supposed to do, distract yourself, go to sleep, and repeat. And then you open Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and you see people traveling the world, guys starting businesses, fitness transformations, everyone talking about purpose, vision, high value, living your dream life. And in the back of your mind, there's this quiet voice saying, I don't even know who I am. How the hell I am supposed to have some big purpose? First thing I want you to hear, there is nothing wrong with you for feeling lost. Nothing. Feeling lost is not a personal failure, it's a signal. It's your system telling you the old version of you doesn't fit anymore, but the new version isn't clear yet. Our goal in this video is not to invent some fake personality for you. Our goal is to remove the noise so you can see the outline of who you actually are and who you are becoming. So I want you to walk you through 5 steps. First of all, turn down the outside noises. Get brutally honest about where you are. Then separate your real self from your performance self, explore what actually lights you up, and last but not least, define your next identity chapter, not your entire life. So let's start with the step 1. Turn down the outside noise. You cannot figure out who you are while living inside everyone else's opinions. Most young men today spend more time consuming other people's lives than being present in their own. Think about it. First thing in the morning, probably your phone. In the bathroom, probably your phone. When you are in the gym, you're watching on your phone. On the way to work or to school, scrolling through your phone. And before you go to sleep, probably you will be on your phone, right? So your brain is constant in this stream of other people's voices, bodies, successes, failures, jokes, drama, problems, and highly reels. No wonder you feel disconnected from yourself. There's no space for your own voice to even show up. So for the next 7 days, I want you to try something simple but uncomfortable. No social media scrolling in the first 60 minutes after you wake up. No social media scrolling in the last 16 minutes before you sleep. That's it. Not forever. Not forever, right? Just a little challenge. Just for 1 week. And in those 60 minutes, I don't need you to meditate for an hour or become a monk. Just do normal life. Make your breakfast, take a shower, go for a short walk, sit in silence, or journal if you want, because I'm a big fan of journaling. The goal here is not to be productive. The goal is silence. Silence is where your real thoughts start to appear. You cannot hear your inner voice if it's competing with 500 voices per hour on your phone. Turning down the noise is not the solution to your identity crisis, but it's the doorway. Without this, nothing else in this video really will land. Step number 2. Get brutally honest about where you are. Most people want to skip this and jump straight to the big questions like, what's my purpose? What's my dream life? What am I meant to do? But identity doesn't start with who I want to be. It starts with who am I right now? Honestly, who am I? So tonight, or whenever you finish this video, I want you to grab a notebook and answer 4 questions. No filter, no performance, just raw honesty. It's just for you, so answer it really honest to yourself. Question number 1. In which areas of my life am I just serving or functioning? Think like work, studies, money, health, friendships, relationships, mental state. Question number 2. Where am I playing small, even though I know I could be doing more or being more? I love this question. Question number 3. What do I do regularly that I know is numbing or destroying me? This could be something like endless scrolling, porn, alcohol, drugs, gaming, or junk food, overworking, even something like people pleasing, whatever it is for you. Question number 4. If nobody would judge me and I didn't have to explain myself to anyone, what would I stop doing immediately? These questions are not comfortable, I get it. And that's exactly why they matter. Because right now, when you say, I feel lost, what you probably mean is, my inner experience and my outer life don't match. But I haven't really looked at it yet. When you see your answers in front of you, black and white, on paper, something shifts. You stop being vaguely lost. You start seeing clearly where you are abandoning yourself. And that's the moment you get power back. You cannot change a life when you are lying about it, right? Let's get to step number 3. Separate your real self from your performance self. Most men grow up learning that their value comes from what they can produce, how much they can earn, how strong they look, how smart or successful or impressive they are, how useful they are to others. So naturally, we start to build a performance identity. I am my job. I am my body. I am my results. I am what other people think of me. The problem is, none of that is stable. Jobs change, money comes and goes, your body ages, and people's opinions flip overnight. If you build your whole identity on performance, you will always feel fragile and lost, because deep down you know, this can all disappear. So here's what I want you to explore. Ask yourself 3 questions, and I know, a lot of questions in this video, but stick with me so you can get the results I want you to get. The question for you: when do I feel most like myself? Not performing, not impressing, not pretending. Maybe it's when you are training, when you are alone in your room listening to music, when you're having a deep conversation with someone you trust, when you're creating something, writing, designing, cooking, building, learning. With which people do I feel like I can relax and be real? The people where you don't feel like you have to be on or be funny, be smart, be strong, be something else as you really are. You just exist, and that's enough. And in which moments do I completely lose track of time in a good way? Those moments usually point to parts of you that are deeply authentic. Some kind of flow state in a thing you do. I love those. For the next 14 days, I want you to run a simple experiment, right? Anytime you notice a moment where you feel honest, alive, real, not performing for anyone, write it down. Just 2 or 3 lines, right? What was I doing? Who was I with, if I was with one? And how did I feel about my body? After 2 weeks, you will start to see some kind of patterns. Maybe you notice, I feel most like myself when I'm creating things with my hands. Or I feel real when I have a one-to-one conversation, not in big groups. Or I feel alive when I'm learning new skills. These are clues, right? They don't give you a job title or a life plan, but they show you where your real identity already lives, underneath all those performance things. Let's get to step number 4. Explore what actually lights you up. Right now, you might be thinking, okay, cool, but how do I know what I want? How do I know what direction is really mine? Instead of trying to answer what do I want to do with my whole life, I want you to explore a simpler question. What kind of experience makes me feel more like myself? Let me give you a few categories to play with. Think about each one and notice what resonates. Creation versus problem solving. Do you feel more alive when you're creating something from nothing, or when you're fixing or optimization or improving things? People versus solitude. Do you get energy from being around people or from time alone? Not what you think you should be, but what's actually true. Structure versus freedom. Do you feel safe and strong with routines and plans, or do you come alive when you have space and flexibility? Body versus mind. Do you feel more like you when you're moving your body, or when you're thinking, reading, talking, and analyzing? There is no right or wrong combination here. This is not a test. This is about noticing, where do I naturally come alive? For the next weeks, when you have a choice, even in small things, start choosing the option that feels a little more like the real you. If you usually distract yourself with your phone when you feel empty, try going for a walk alone and just thinking. If you always say yes to plans, even when you don't want to go, try saying no once and see how it feels. If you always play small in a conversation, try saying one honest sentence more than you normally would. Identity is not something you sit down and think into existence. Identity is something you discover while living, by trying, by adjusting, by paying attention. And finally, step number 5. Define your next identity chapter, not your whole life. This might be the most important shift in this entire video, so I hope you are still with me. The idea that you need to figure out who you are for the next 40 years is paralyzing. You don't need a life sentence, you need a chapter. So instead of asking, who am I for the rest of my life? Try this. Who is the man I want to grow into over the next 90 days? Make it concrete. Give this version of you shape. Ask yourself, how does this man think about himself? Maybe, I take myself serious. I finish what I start. I don't abandon myself when it gets uncomfortable. How does he behave in his everyday life? Does he get up when his alarm rings? Does he constantly escape into his phone? Does he keep promising to himself? Does he speak honestly, or does he say what people want to hear? What does he no longer tolerate in his life? Certain habits, certain relationships, certain excuses? Write this identity down like a small character description. Not as some perfect superhero, but a slightly upgraded, more honest version of you. And then comes the most important part. Choose 3 small daily actions that this version of you would do and start living them right now. Not the next month, not when you feel ready, now. For example, 10 minutes every day without your phone, just sitting with your own thoughts. Or 20 minutes of movement every day, no matter how small. Or finishing one thing per day you said you would do, even if it's tiny. Your identity is not built by what you think about yourself, it's built by what you repeatedly do. You stop feeling lost not because you have the perfect plan for your future, but because you start action in alignment with your version of you that feels true. So let's put this together. If you feel lost in your life right now, here's your path. Turn down the outside noises. 7 days no social media in the first or last hour of your day. Be brutally honest about where you are. Answer the 4 questions in a notebook. No lies, no performance. Separate your real self from your performance self. Notice where you feel most authentic and write those moments down for 14 days. Explore what lights you up and pay attention to the experience that make you feel alive or more like yourself. Define a 90-day identity chapter. Describe the man you want to be for the next 3 months and live him through the small daily actions. If you watched until this point, that already tells me something about you. You're not just passively complaining about being lost. You're looking for a way to take responsibility for your life. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are in the middle of a transition. And feeling lost is what it feels like when your old identity is dying and your new one is being born. Your next step is simple. Today, before you go to sleep, take 10 minutes, grab a pen, and answer those 4 questions for step 2. That's it. Start here. You don't need to know your whole path. You just need to be honest enough to take the next real step.